There is an item in TF2 that is not meant to exist. A weapon so rare that only 26 of them have ever been found, initially a weapon reserved for the inventories of game devs, now reserved for the inventories of the collectors willing to pay the crazy price to own one, and who have enough patience to find one out in the wild. That weapon is none other than the vintage Community Sparkle lugermorph, one of the rarest and most special items in all of TF2. But where did it even come from? Well, to understand that, first we have to go back to when the lugermorph was first added into the game. Like a lot of different TF2 items, the lugermorph is a promotional item. This time specifically for Sam & Max The Devil's Playhouse, where you had to purchase this game before April 26th in 2010. Originally, all users who did purchase the game were given a unique lugermorph. But when Pokenight The Inventory came out in November of the same year, all of the lugermorphs that were received from purchasing Sam & Max were converted to vintage lugermorphs, just as a way to differentiate what game that promotional lugermorph was from. Now, vintage lugermorphs themselves were pretty special, considering the Manconomy update which introduced them was only released in September 30th of 2010. Vintage items haven't really been a thing for that long before lugers could also be made vintage. However, the change of qualities on the lugermorph caused a very strange glitch to occur. But before I tell you all about that, you guys might be aware that whenever somebody creates an item and it gets added into TF2, they get given a self-made version of that item. For example, I have 4 self-made Blapchico badges for being part of the Blapchico group when we had our medals added into the game as a donation incentive for a charity stream. Well, the developers of Sam & Max were also granted untradeable self-made versions of the lugermorph when the game came out. However, it turns out when Valve did make the change to make all of the Sam & Max lugermorphs vintage, apparently Valve completely forgot about the self-made lugermorphs, which, to be honest, I'm not 100% surprised about. Which means that it changed all of the qualities of those items given to the Telltale employees, not only to the vintage Community Sparkle lugermorphs as we know them today, but it also somehow made them all tradable. So all it would really take is one Telltale dev deciding they could sell that item for a fair bit, for that weapon to then end up in the hands of certain community members. Now, back in the day, there were a number of different exploits that existed when it came to duplicating items. From my memory, people were manipulating Steam support to believe that they had lost their items or had them stolen, when in reality they could have just traded it to a friend or an alternative account or something like that, which led Steam to restore their inventory to how it was before they traded the items away, meaning another Community Sparkle vintage lugermorph now exists. So it didn't take long for the small number of Community Sparkle lugermorphs in the game to grow up to the number of 26 that we have today. So one question you might be having is, how much are they worth now? There is one currently up for sale on the backpack.tf classified listings for 3,700 keys, which is equal to about $6,400. And there's also one on manco.store which is selling for $6,150. $6,000 for an item that isn't meant to exist.